Welcome to the ISO cheat sheet. This is Matt, and the point of these cheat sheets is not to explain everything to you. It's just to tell you exactly what to do so that you can get the desired effect with your photos. If you're a student of mine, I've probably taught you this stuff already, and don't feel ashamed if you have forgotten some of it. That's perfectly normal to do, or if you flipped it around and got it backwards, these cheat sheets will get you rolling again. So remember that your ISO setting, it basically sets your camera for how sensitive it's going to be to the light. So if you're in super bright light, you don't need your camera to be super sensitive to the light because there's so much light. So you want to go with the lower number. So if you're out in bright sunshine, set your ISO to 400. If you are out on a cloudy day, it means that there is less light. So you need to make your camera a little more sensitive to the light. So take it up to 800. Also, if you're going to be shooting a lot in the shade, consistently you're in the shade, bump it up to 800 as well. If you're out in the sunshine and you just point your camera every once in a while toward the shade, you're probably doing okay at ISO 400. All right, now, excuse me, if it is a really deep, dark, overcast day, you're going to need to bump your ISO up even higher, probably around 1600. Or also if you're in deep, dark shade, like you're in the woods or something like that, there's a good chance you'll have to bump your ISO up to 1600. Now, as you get used to all of this, which you're obviously not right now because you're looking at a cheat sheet, but as you get used to it, you will learn to refine this on your own. There are times that you're going to have to be at 3200 in the deep shade, or maybe 800 will be fine in the deep shade. It just depends, and you will learn the nuances as time goes on. If you are indoors or it is nighttime and you're outdoors, you are going to need to be somewhere between 3200 and 6400 on your ISO. The ISO is a starting point for your camera. It lets your camera know about the brightness or the intensity of the light that it's in, and it gives it a really good starting point for getting better pictures. One last little tip, that if your photos are blurry from movement, people are moving in your photo or your hands are shaking a little bit when you take the photo, if that's the case, you need to feed your camera more light. And the way to do that is to increase your ISO to something higher. If you're on 400, go to 800 or 1600. If you're on 1600, go to 3200 or 6400. Wherever you're at, you need to feed your camera more light. Whenever you have blurry photos from movement, you just got to feed your camera more light. So one of the quickest ways to do that is to increase your ISO to something higher, and you can check out my cheat sheet on low light photography as well.